Hello everyone and welcome to the first of many videos you'll be seeing here. I want to kick this video off by saying thank you to those who decided to support me on this venture with Patreon. Making videos outside of streaming is something that I've had in mind for the longest time, but never really had the push I needed to get into gear. I wanted to make the first video about something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is Attack on Titan. I often get asked what my favorite animes are, what my favorite mangas are, and what I would recommend, so I thought this would be a perfect start. Let's talk about Attack on Titan and why I think it's incredible. So grab your anime body pillows, light your waifu shrine candles, and let's get started. Let's kick this bad boy off by talking about where Attack on Titan first found its footing. I remember when I first picked up the manga back in 2010, I thought, this is pretty weird. Really abnormally large Ken doll looking titans running around wreaking havoc on small people. Then I remembered Japan loves making things about gargantuan beings versus humanity. Not that that isn't cool or anything, but downplaying the story to something as rudimentary as that could not be further from the truth. That's just like saying, Lord of the Rings is a love story between a man and his ring. Wait a minute. In 2013, Attack on Titan gets adapted into an anime, and seeing the panels come to life like that? Breathtaking. It's a series that has evolved so much over the years from each season to where we are now at season 4. But just when the show had started to pick up a decent amount of momentum around season 2, Attack on Titan found itself in the middle of a very lengthy hiatus, which is probably why a large chunk of the viewer base probably fell off at one point. Many sources say that there just wasn't enough source material that was further down the line for the anime to work off of. As far as I know, any anime adapted from a manga means that the manga is always going to be further along in the story. As the final season of Attack on Titan is fast approaching, I'm going to try and keep this video spoiler free, because the aim is to tell you why it's so good, and I'll do my very best to avoid specifics. One of the best things about Attack on Titan is that you're constantly at the edge of your seat. You never know who's going to kick the bucket. No, seriously, don't get attached to anyone. There's always an incredible twist waiting around every corner. And did I mention that there is just so much tension? I've never edged so hard over an anime. It's not a sex thing, I promise. It's just not for the faint of heart, but it's worth every damn emotion you will come to feel. That's if you enjoy drinking your own tears like I do. The show is beaming with action, and you will find yourself glued to the screen when it all goes down. I think the moment I quite literally lost my damn mind was when this song came on during a pivotal fight sequence in season 1 between two titans. The OST is just another cherry on top of this beautiful cake. They're so iconic, moving, and memorable that I have admittedly cried many times during the show. Hiroyuki Sawano is a genius, hands down. Attack on Titan is one of the most beautifully animated pieces of anime that I've seen. Which is funny because a lot of people think that the manga has some of the ugliest panels ever, specifically when looking at the earlier volumes. I can definitely see where people are coming from. Some panels are really left to be desired, but I do see an improvement down the line with the later volumes. Some panels are just so damn beautiful. Wit Studio, who was responsible for bringing to life seasons 1 through to 3, animated some of the most beautiful battle scenes I've ever seen. That's no small feat considering the size of the studio who worked on the show, something crazy like 34 employees. Now let's move on to the plot. One of the things that I have come to admire about Attack on Titan is its ability to make everything come full circle. It's not one of those shows that brings something up for the sake of it, only to leave open a massive gaping hole in the story. I've rewatched the show multiple times at this point, and every single time I do a rewatch, I come to realize a certain plot point or character's intention that unfolds later in the story, whether subtle or obvious, and my brain explodes tenfold. Like, you know when you get to a point in a movie or a show where things are just so far gone from how it started? Sometimes it can be so unforgivably bad, like when Ben so eloquently put it when talking about the Fast and Furious franchise. How did they go from stealing DVD players to throwing rocket cars at jets? Well, take that concept and throw it in the trash. This is not the case for Attack on Titan at all, and I'm a really big fan of the direction Isayama took for the story. Attack on Titan has a way of subverting expectations through its characters, story, and dialogue too damn well. The way the show demonstrates this is when it drip feeds hints and clues throughout the story, eventually leading to a reveal that, if you were paying attention when you come to the reveal, realization and understanding dawn on you so hard, and you think back to those little moments that allow you to accept what has happened. It's a pretty impressive thing to pull off, because there have been countless times I've watched or read a reveal to something and it's just felt like this pit of emptiness. Like, is that really it? Attack on Titan literally started out as humanity must survive against big, stompy, dumb humanoid creatures to an all-out political war thriller. The story closely follows three protagonists, with the main being Eren Yeager and his two friends Armin and Mikasa. Eren starts off as a grating, whiny main protagonist, which isn't an unusual trope in anime, but eventually he becomes an insanely perplexing and fascinating character to follow. Humanity inside the walls had known peace for many years, albeit living like cattle, until one day a big, sweaty colossal shoves its foot so far through the wall, creating an opening so wide, symbolizing just how humanity is going to get from that one swift foot penetration. It no longer became about just defending humanity. It more so became about discovering what were the Titans, where did they come from, what are we fighting for, who built the walls, and what's in the damn basement. The pacing in the show between seasons was sometimes lengthy and really stretched out. They even made fun of the mystery around the basement itself in season 3. That's just how stretched out it was. Regardless of some pacing issues in the show, the tone and world building of Attack on Titan is so well executed. Nothing is ever black and white. The show is dark, and the battlefield in which humanity, specifically the Survey Corps, fight is bleak and often met with defeat and huge losses to human life. There are so many underlying messages in the show about humanity and our primal instinct to take up arms against other people, in spite of the resounding threat against humanity as a whole. Humans will always find a way to turn on one another, which we have seen in popular media time and time again. Take The Walking Dead, for example. It may be a show about zombies and the surviving humans' fight against the undead on the surface, but in reality, it's the humans who fight one another. It's an endless, vicious cycle. There are no real heroes in Attack on Titan. The line between good and evil is always blurred, and there are so many of these necessary evils embodied in various good guy characters, like Erwin Smith or Pixis, that get played throughout the seasons. Things become unclear as to who's actually right and who's wrong, and the sacrifices that were made along the way. The show constantly highlights, do the means justify the end? The show revolves around the harsh realities of war, as well as the brutal themes of death, duty, loss, and perseverance against dire odds. As the story progresses, human conflict and politics become more prominent, and we start to see the world through more characters' eyes, which in turn allows us as the audience to experience the different viewpoints, moralities, and ideologies seen throughout the seasons. Anytime you think you may have the show figured out, it pulls a swift 180 on you. It frequently builds up characters and situations, setting your expectations at a positive high, then something completely unexpected happens to turn your world upside down. AOT does this to reinforce its themes of a harsh and cruel world, indicating that literally anything can happen. It's a show that can highlight and showcase meaning in the most unpredictable of ways. We were almost not going to get a season 4, if you can believe it, and it wasn't because of a lack of demand for it. Talking in an interview with New Type in their November 2020 issue, the Attack on Titan producers addressed the reason why they changed from Wit Studio to MAPPA. Producers were met with a lot of uncertainty from various studios when pitching the final season. They went on to say in the interview, as creators, we wanted the anime to escalate even further. Through many talks with Wit Studio, we understood that the continuation would be difficult, so we looked for a new studio. Everyone understood what big shoes they had to fill, and we were told by dozens of studios that they emphatically could not accept. They went on to state the only studio that said that they would consider it was MAPPA. When we talked to Wit Studio about it, they said that they could rest easy knowing it was in MAPPA's hands. The producers were in agreement, so the production shifted to MAPPA. Our prayers to the waifu gods were answered, and thus season 4 was born. Considering the time restraints that MAPPA have had to work against, I am in absolute awe of what they were able to produce in such a short amount of time. On top of the fact that they work on other such big titles like Jujutsu Kaisen, Kakegurui, Yuri on Ice, and they're bringing Chainsaw Man to life. As much as I would have liked Wit Studio to be the ones to make the story and their journey with the show come full circle, I also understand how season 1 to 3 are also vastly different to what is happening in season 4. I'm not going to sit here and say, stick with it, it gets better after X amount of episodes or X season, because everyone's tastes are completely different. What makes one person tick just won't be the same for someone else. But personally, it just really stuck with me from the beginning. I feel like what the show has to offer goes above and beyond what a lot of mainstream media doesn't seem to bring to the table in many aspects. And for one reason or another, there has just always been this weird stigma around anime, sometimes warranted. If you're reticent or you feel as though you have some misconceptions about what anime has to offer, I would wholeheartedly recommend picking up Attack on Titan. The good thing for those of you who have yet to experience the beauty of Attack on Titan is that you don't exactly have to wait years for episodes to come out. We are on the final season at the moment, with the second and final part of that season to reportedly air near the end of this year, coming to its ultimate climax. And guys, I cannot contain my excitement. Well, I would say that about wraps it up for the first video. From the bottom of my heart, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm super excited to keep working on videos like this down the line. I'm already working on the new video, and I'm just over the moon happy to be able to do this kind of work. Thank you all for watching, and special thanks to the following people for pledging at the Jaeger patron tier. Thank you Whitlock, Starscream No Scope, Dark Hip, Witty Comeback, Tucker, Luck, Casey, Hero82, Mad Bob, Sly Hedgehog, So Bored with Sorcery, Kearney, Tamor, Demi, Lexian, Gangsol, Cavi, Suns, Graham, Enki, Fluffy Llama, Brett B, Cornelius, Ivan the Man, Algid, Ebrarian, and Mubinsky.